Henry VIII? Man, I thought this man just wanted to divorce his wife, but he ended up wanting to do way more than just that, 72,000. Who really is the bloodiest dictator in history? Because number one, it should be surprising, but at the same time, it's not. You're gonna see. So to start off the list, we're starting off with this man from Chile. The Chileans do not like this man. Don't bring this man up in Chile. But he's starting off the list at 3,000, and in a very graphic way, we are going to see these human skulls, I guess, in a pyramid formation. Nero from the Roman Empire, so we are dating pretty far back in history as well. Nero only being responsible for 5,000. I thought it'd be a little bit more than that. We're gonna have to see. I'm gonna try to figure out Caligula. That's a good one from the Roman Empire. I'm gonna have to see exactly what they're basing this off of, because wow, we're gonna have so many Roman empires, aren't we? Roman emperors. Tiberius with almost 10,000. Who is that? I thought this was... Who is this random man? Tomas de Tormecada. I actually don't know much about this guy at all. He's a leader from the Dominican Republic, or something like that. Why are there fires everywhere? Things are only going to get more graphic as we continue on this video, because Fidel Castro is on the list, 30,000. Man, it's crazy when you talk to Cubans here, because when he passed away... I remember, I was very young at that time. They were celebrating. They were so happy about that. It was very fascinating to see. I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't expect the literal celebrations at that time. Mind you, I was 18 years old and I didn't know anything about Cuban history. But yeah, they're not a big fan of Fidel, but he had a lot to deal with. Okay, so this guy is from the Dominican Republic. He is a famous Hoi 4 leader, in fact, and he has a very similar skinny mustache, man. A very similar skinny mustache that you're going to see that style of mustache pop up again, obviously. I gotta admit, I'm a little surprised that it was 50,000, which is insane. Then we have Francisco here from Equatorial Guinea, such a small country, but sadly... he got to so many people, 63,000. It's weird that the human skulls are now being built in different ways. Like, it's not just forming like a small pyramid or triangle. It's like a house. Oh, Vlad the Impaler. Now, that's a good one. From Wallachia, Vlad the Impaler. Very famous. I always talk about Vlad the Impaler. Something I'm keeping in mind, for some of these more historical leaders, you have to keep in mind that there were just physically less human beings around. So, like, if there were more human beings around... you think Vlad the Impaler would have gotten more than 66,000? I do. I think he could have gotten a lot more. Kind of scary to think about it like that. For some of these leaders that are 1,000 or 2,000 years old, if they were alive today, I can't even imagine the detrimental force, the bloodiest things that they would do just because there's so many more people around. Oh, Henry at 70. Henry VIII? Man, I thought this man just wanted to divorce his wife. But he ended up wanting to do way more than just that, 72,000. These are weirdly becoming palaces. I think that's part of it. That's how... oh, Salman bin Abu... I always forget how to pronounce his last name, but he's from Saudi Arabia. Well, his son just definitely took over. 85,000? Here's a big one. Ivan the Terrible. How could you forget him? The Grand Prince of Moscow, obviously in charge of Russia, and a very crucial time during Russia as well. Over 100,000. There's going to be more Russian leaders that definitely show up here. Dang, Tito at 200,000. I already know it's going to be a highly controversial video. First of all, we're only 2 minutes into this video, and we still have 6 minutes left to go. Because some of these rulers are still well renowned by certain populations. I mean, obviously, we saw that with Fidel. There's certain people that love Fidel Castro. There's lots of people that do not like him. But, you know, when it comes to some of these more modern leaders... you're gonna find yourself accidentally oofing a lot of people sometimes. I mean, I'm just saying, you're gonna accidentally do that, whether it's intentional or by accident. A lot of this is intentional. That is something just to keep in mind, is the people that were doing it intentionally, and that were especially providing resources to make themselves become the bloodiest dictator ever. If it's like removing resources, that's also pretty bad too. Speaking of which, where's Stalin going to be at? He's come. Why is... oh, that guy's passed away. He's about to be loaded up. Okay, this man from Uganda. Crazy, because I don't know if I know that one. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think I've ever heard of that dictator or even seen his face. Francisco Franco is not shocking at all. He ruled over Spain for like 40 years there. And also, like, I'm sure he got a lot of these lot of these skulls here during the Civil War, I'm assuming. But because remember, he wasn't in World War II, so I bet you a lot of those kills he got was during World War II. Boom, Benito Mussolini. It's so funny to see the passes that certain leaders get versus how some leaders don't get the. I mean, what's crazy is like Benito here, 300,000. You would think that, everyone would be mad about that. For the most part, I feel like people, maybe, I don't know. I think it's because he's so overshadowed by several other figures in his continent at the time. And 300,000 is no number to just like throw away, though. Like, that's still a huge amount of human beings. But I think people are just like, Benito wasn't that bad because of who he was partnering with. Is Emperor Hirohito, who's going to be in charge of the Empire of Japan? Will it be Hirohito or Tojo? So Bashar al-Assad, that man ruled Syria for a very long time. Up until recently, he was finally deposed, and he's living in Russia, Moscow, apparently somewhere. Ho Chi Minh, responsible. Yeah, this is going to be controversial. I mean, if that wasn't obvious enough, but because how are these being counted? Ho Chi Minh he's very mixed. I mean, he fought a war. He was fighting a war against the U.S. He fought the French before that. Funny enough, I've done a lot of research on Ho Chi Minh, and he really liked the USA at first. The Vietnamese likened their revolution to the American Revolution, and it was just really, in the early days, in the 40s and 50s, it was just really ironic that, they ended up fighting the U.S. Hey, they got the dub over us, though, so there you go. Well, at least now we're kind of friends. We're a little bit of a better situation. But Ho Chi Minh, again, Ho Chi Minh is, you have to also keep in mind the region of Earth we're in. So the dictators that are going to be higher up on this list, they're going to all be coming from China. They're going to be coming from maybe India. They're going to be coming from a lot more in Asia. There's going to be less and less coming from the American continents because there's just less population here. Okay, well, that guy, this is the Romanian dude. They shot him live on TV, right? And everyone cheered. All the Romanians loved watching that. That's how much this guy was despised. 500,000. And Saddam Hussein at 600,000. You know what? I bet you anything. Is that him laying in the background? Why does that shadow look like it's hiding Saddam? That's crazy. Did they do that on purpose? That would be kind of crazy if they did that. This is another one. I don't know this man from Ethiopia. I know a couple of former Ethiopian historical leaders, but I'm not sure that name does not ring a bell to me. Then we have Suharto, is that how you say his name? From Indonesia. If I remember correctly, this guy was in charge of Indonesia during a really rough time. A very, very rough time. There's a great movie called The Act of Killing, a documentary that came out like 10 years ago, if you want to learn about that. That's what mostly taught me about that mass, just very tragic event. Almost 1 million people. Kim Dynasty. Now, did you misspell that? Why are the names being misspelled? So this is including the grandfather, Kim Jong-il, and Kim Jong-un at 1.4 million. It's kind of hard to know these numbers because do we know how much he's oofing in North Korea? Is the USA going to be next? I see the Statue of Liberty in the corner, and I'm like, who is going to be next here? FDR? Woodrow Wilson? Okay, I kind of got to figure this one out. I think this is just by comparison. I don't think it's going to be. Anyways, okay, so the Kim Dynasty probably got mostly racked in a lot of their bloody casualties during the Korean Civil War. The Korean War. They're still at war, technically. But it's hard to know exactly in the Hermit Kingdom how many they're oofing. We have numbers in terms of starvations, but those are all estimates. We're not going to know until a very long time. Omar al-Bashir in Sudan. Sudan has been a very rough place, 1.6 million. So we're obviously getting to the millions. Pol Pot is not even ranking. This is scary. We're just a little bit, maybe 60% of the video through, and Pol Pot is here. This is one of the worst dictators. So I know I'm very fortunate, I think. I've been able to learn a lot about the Cambodian community because I live in the biggest, I grew up in the biggest city outside of Cambodia with the most Cambodian population. That's Long Beach, California. A lot of Cambodians escaped Cambodia, and they came to Long Beach. So I went to school with Cambodians throughout my entire elementary school, middle school, high school, university. I learned so much about this. The lady that cuts my hair was Cambodian, so she still is, but I don't go to her anymore. But she would always tell me these horrific stories. But yeah, he is probably the most often cited dictator, I think, in terms of like the worst of the worst. He's like in the top 3, I'd say. And a lot of people put him number 1. So this is actually crazy to not see him at the very end. And it's, again, maybe just because he didn't have access to more Cambodians, or he didn't have access to more people. The Vietnamese had to come over there and stop the chaos because he was oofing people with just regular glasses on. Any intellectual, they had to remove them. And yeah, so Cambodians are not very big fans of communists, if you can imagine, here in Long Beach, California. I'll tell you that right now. Dang, 2.5 million from Madagascar. That's another one that has slipped my mind. I don't know a lot of these African dictators, but I think I'm going to know some of these other ones if there's some more that come up. Wow, this is getting crazy. That is, Leopold. Yeah, from Belgium. Leopold II. Speaking of African dictators, you can kind of throw him in there, can't you? Yeah, he did a lot of horrible things in Africa, and he did a lot of things. You gotta hand it to him. That's all I'm gonna say. You gotta hand it to him. He's pretty rough guy. And it's funny because Belgium dodged all of that huge PR problems. Everyone thinks of Belgium as just the cute waffle place. Just don't bring up Leopold II. That was pretty rough. 9 million that's hard to even wrap your head around. So that means the Skinny Mustache Man and Stalin are going to be ranked for even more. Oh my goodness. Chiang Kai-shek? I believe that's how you pronounce that. Chiang Kai-shek. I mean, he is from the Republic of China. Now, this animation is showing him with the People's Republic of China, but do not be fooled. This man did not like the People's Republic of China. So he started a civil war, or he began the civil war. They united with the communists to defeat the Japanese during World War II. They re-sparked the Chinese Civil War. The communists had a lot more on their side than they had the first time, and Chiang Kai-shek here had to escape to the island of Taiwan. That is the origin story of the Republic of China, or the island, as we know it, the island of Taiwan. So he's responsible for 10 million. Now, are there any Japanese in there? Because one could argue that if there's Japanese in there, it's like, well, you shouldn't have invaded, huh, Japan? You know what I'm saying? Is that crazy to say? I don't think that's crazy to say. Japan came in, started taking out Chinese people in the Republic of China. So if the Japanese casualty count is contributing, which I think it is, 10 million is a lot. Then again, it might not, because remember, it's China here. So the civil wars in China are just absolutely brutal. But anyways, I'm really curious what number is included in that 10 million. Maybe we could do some, you know what? I just realized there it is. They are going to label Hirohito. It is going to be Hirohito of Japan at 14 million. And a lot of it is due to geography. At the end here, he had access to, unfortunately, a lot of people. And the decisions he was making was putting a lot of people at risk. I mean, the Japanese Empire had one of the biggest empires of all time. People forget that. It only lasted for a couple years there, but one of the biggest empires of all time. And they were absolutely brutal to the Chinese. And to be fair, all Asians. This is why Asia does not like Japan still to this day. I know that in the West, everyone's like, ooh, woo, but there's a whole lot of the older generation. I think this is I think Japan has moved on with the younger generation from what I saw in Thailand and like maybe younger Filipinos and younger Vietnamese, but they're older folks, the parents, the grandparents, they still do not like Japan. I think Japan have successfully made the move, but you could see 14 million. There's 14 million people, and that was all of Asia that was affected, from Japan to Myanmar to Australia. So it's not surprising that he racked up a figure as high as 14 million. I think I know who's going to be number one on this list, but I am not going to give it away since we saw Chiang Kai-shek, because there's another Chinese leader on here that he opposed. And we still haven't seen him yet. Now, here's an interesting one. Empire of the Timurids at 17 million. Consider that this guy was a leader from over 500 years ago. He was around over 500 years ago, and still he racked up 17 million. Now, part of that is because he had direct access to the Indus Valley civilizations. That's basically India. So he had access to, a ton of people in South Asia. And he clearly did. He waged war. His empire stood where like kind of modern day Iran is, and even more. There's the man right there. So here is Adolf at 18 million. That's absolutely insane that the man of Timur is only a million less than Adolf at 18 million. Is it really only 18 million? I'm trying to do the math in my head because you basically can contribute him to everyone that died in Europe during World War II. Is it only 18 million? I feel like he deserves a little bit more there. But again, I don't know how these figures are being counted. That's what it's all about. Okay, so in the case of Joseph Stalin, he's at 23 million. Joseph Stalin ruled for longer than Adolf. He also ruled more territory than Adolf. I don't know if he, at one point, he ruled over a larger population for a longer amount of time. So, but there's several reasons for this. Keep in mind the things he did in Ukraine, the Red Purges. I don't know if some of the Russian Revolution deaths are being contributed here, but Joseph Stalin's been through a lot. So I'm actually not surprised that they have him higher up than Adolf. But is this even second place? Because it doesn't look like even Stalin gets second place. Who's ahead of Stalin? It must be another Chinese leader, or is it like some Roman leader? Oh, Mongol. Oh, I'm stupid. I completely forgot about that. 40 million for Genghis Khan. 40 million. And yet, even to this day, the Mongolian Empire has a massive statue of Genghis Khan in the Mongolian capital. I think it's in the Mongolian capital. I'm not sure where that's located, but it's a giant silver statue. 40 million. Don't forget, he also contributed a lot to a lot of people's heritage. What is it? 1/16 of the world's related to Genghis Khan? 1/8? Something crazy. Or maybe it's 1/8 of everyone in Asia is related to Genghis. 40 million. Now, he had so this was in the 1200s, but obviously he had control over the two most populated places on Earth historically. That's China and India. I mean, he had direct fights with India. He ruled over all of China. Obviously, his empire stretched from the Anatolia Peninsula to modern-day Poland. He just had so much opportunity. And then he sacked Baghdad, literally sacked Baghdad, a city with, what, 250,000 population or more? Literally overnight, just boom, everyone just gone. And here's number one. Yes, this was I was trying to foreshadow with Chiang Kai-shek. Mao at 78 million. And Mao for several reasons. First of all, he was just around for so long, from the Chinese Civil War, the warlord period, to the Japanese World War II fight, to the Chinese Civil War, to the Great Leap Forward that China did in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. I mean, kind of by just process of, it's just a factual thing. He ruled the biggest place on Earth, the most territory for among the most amount of time. So, yeah. Now, this is specifically referring to dictators. If you're wondering where some other ones on here are, for instance, there might be some comments about Winston Churchill. I think we're not including people from republics or democracies only because they're specifically highlighting dictators. But you could throw some of those figures on there. You definitely could. And this video could get way more controversial, even more controversial, believe it or not. That would be quite interesting, because I thought for a second there we might see like our president Woodrow Wilson. You could even make an argument FDR. Then again, I feel like Adolf's responsible for a lot of that stuff in World War II at least, but it depends. Not surprising, this comment section is an absolute hellhole. Considering the population of the world at that era, what Genghis Khan did is indescribable. Yes, that was one of the first things I thought of too. Somebody needs to go back to school and repeat history. Where the hell is Mugabe? That is a former president of Zimbabwe, so maybe that's why no presidents. Napoleon is a good one. We should have seen Napoleon. Absolutely. Yep, Churchill's up here. Figured that was going to happen. If Leopold made the list, Queen Victoria, I was also possibly considering Queen Victoria of the British Empire. This is a crazy comment section, that's for sure. 40 million Indians because of the UK. People seem to confuse confuse dictator with warmonger. Napoleon was a warmonger, Stalin a dictator. There's more people that are being included that were left off the list. Also, you gotta talk about the numbers here. Who knows how exactly was this just a Wikipedia dictator search, or which sources were used? The reliable references sources are really important for this kind of presentation. Don't believe everything you see on the internet. Vladimir Lenin. Thanks, Lenin. I knew he knew about the internet over 100 years ago. No, that funny man from Oi 4 is a bloody dictator. What? Oi 4 fans absolutely devastated by this. That video was by Gravity. He started a very, very interesting conversation in this video, I have to say. It has my mind thinking about a whole lot of things. Let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are. DruuuWu Labubu. Drew's AI girlfriend. LuxembourgLover. LoreTrack. William. Never change Drew. Unless you want to. Nolan. AlexandertheTerrible. NordTyrol. Migloo the Goat. KingBearHaze. Connor Pavlik. Fredrik Tibblin. And Tambre. To all my Patreon subscribers this month, thank you. If you want your name here, check the description down below.